Today the Halloween event starts, and with that a really nice co-op dungeon. You can do the dungeon as often as you want, but to loot the chest at the end of the dungeon you will need so-called candy corn. And the candy corn you will get just once per day. Okay, but I thought I'd give you a quick guide on how to play all the mechanics in the dungeon. Like, this dungeon is completely for fun, you can die here as often as you want, it's absolutely no problem. But maybe some people will still be happy about the guide. So at the beginning you will go through a corridor until you come to a room full of pumpkins. You can either clear all the ads before, but you can also skip them. Now in this room you will find a bunch of pumpkins on the floor. In one of them you will find a hidden key for a pumpkin jet. So you just have to interact with the pumpkins. If there is no key in the pumpkin, then a pumpkin soldier will spawn. So if you are really unlucky, then a bunch of pumpkins will be in the room all attacking you. But you just keep interacting with all the pumpkins on the ground till you find the key. Now with the key you go through the door into your pumpkin jet and fly to the next encounter. Now our pumpkin jet is sadly out of energy and we have to charge him up. For this we need to bring him 3 pumpkins. So here again, the trash mobs at the beginning you don't have to kill. You can go directly into the next room. Okay, so in this room we have a lot of pumpkin soldiers and a lot of pumpkins on the ground. But important here, we have 2 different types of pumpkins on the ground. They are the bigger ones, where only pumpkin is written, and then we have the smaller ones, where pumpkin is written and we see this quest symbol. You can interact with both of the pumpkins, but you should only interact with the small ones. When you interact with the big one, then a pumpkin soldier will spawn. But if you interact with the small one, then you can pick them up and bring them to your pumpkin jet. But important here is that you will lose those pumpkin immediately if you get hit by something. So if you get hit by any of the pumpkin soldiers, then you will immediately lose the pumpkin. Additionally, also the door closes after a short time. And with a pumpkin in your hand, you can't open the door. Okay, so the other players have to protect you and open the door for you when you are bringing the pumpkin to the pumpkin jet. The easiest way to play this is if the tank just takes the aggro of all the soldiers which are already in the room at the beginning. And now the other players just bring all the pumpkins to the pumpkin jet. Of course, if people don't know which pumpkin they have to take, then a lot of pumpkin soldiers will spawn and it will be a lot harder to bring the pumpkins to the pumpkin jet. But if that happens, 1 or 2 people should just try to get the aggro of all the pumpkin soldiers in the room, so all other players can then bring the pumpkins to the pumpkin jet. Now the pumpkin jet with full energy again flies to its final destination. On the way, don't forget to block the attacks of the pumpkin lancers, otherwise you will get kicked off the jet. Okay, you arrived, now here you have to kill all the trash and a mini-boss will spawn. Okay, so the pumpkin captain has 2 attacks. First of all, he has a little bit of a fire breath which is doing into one direction. Just don't stay in it and you are fine. Okay, the second mechanic, he starts when he's spawning 3 pumpkins. These 3 pumpkins follow 3 other players. After a short time these will explode and put you into a pumpkin prison. Okay, so to not get you into this prison, you can either run them out or you let them explode near the boss. But even if you get into the prison, it's absolutely no problem. Other players can just simply destroy the prison. If you're too long in the prison, then you will get a huge debuff which deals quite a bit of damage after a short time. I couldn't really discover what the graves with the golden lights are doing. I did quite a few runs, but I never discovered it. Do you know what they are for? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, the next encounter is pretty easy. You just have to go through a corridor with 2 big pumpkins in it. If you touch one of those pumpkins, then you will die. So you hide always in the small areas to let the pumpkin pass till you arrive at the end of the corridor. Okay, now we come to the father of all pumpkins called Jack. Okay, so Jack has 4 major mechanics. So on the first mechanic, he is pulling all players to him. And then he will channel 2 fire areas in a row. Just be a little bit in movement and you can easily dodge them. The second mechanic spawns 3 exploding pumpkins. And Jack gets a huge shield, so you have to destroy the shield with the exploding pumpkins. If you attack the pumpkins, you can push them into a certain direction. If you push them all to the boss and they explode next to him, he will lose his shield and get stunned. If you don't destroy the whole shield, then you have to destroy the shield manually, which of course takes a little bit of time and delays the run. The third mechanic, he will spawn 3 lines of pumpkins. A few of those pumpkins light up a little. If you touch such a pumpkin, then you get into the pumpkin. All the other pumpkins will push you a little back all the time. after the third line of pumpkins, he will do an AoE attack which will deal quite a bit of damage. But of course, if you are on one of those pumpkins, then you will get 0 damage. Okay, and the last mechanic starts when he's porting you away from him and transforming you all into mosquitoes. To get transformed back into your character, you need to reach the boss as a mosquito. But he's channeling always AoE attacks which will bind you for a few seconds on the ground. You can dodge that if you fly to the ground. So you can do that exactly as in Tyrant Isle as a rat. So to fly to the ground, you just press 1, dodge the AoE attack and go up again. Additionally, there are 2 bats which when you are getting too close to them also bind you. If you don't make it after a certain time, then you will get quite a bit of damage. Okay, that's it, all you need to know about the dungeon. If you like the content and want to support me, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see ya in the next one.